The music was playing, glasses were clinking, and the soft chatter of guests filled the air. My family's wedding reception was in full swing. Everyone was happy, celebrating, and I was sitting at the long table, trying to blend into the background, like I always do. But then, the room fell silent. I didn't know exactly when it happened, but I could feel it, the shift in the atmosphere. My dad stood up holding his glass in one hand, the other resting on the back of his chair. Everyone turned toward him, waiting for his toast. I thought he was going to talk about how proud he was of the bride and groom, about the years of love they'd shared. But then, he said something that cut through the air like a knife. "We wish you were more like your sister," he said, his voice sharp, his eyes locking with mine across the table. The room went dead quiet. I could feel the heat rise in my chest, my face burning, but I didn't say a word. I didn't cry, I didn't yell. I just sat there, my stomach dropping as I watched my sister, Eva, smile smugly from across the table. She was enjoying this. She was basking in the praise, the attention that had always been hers. It wasn't the first time my dad had said something like this. It wasn't even the first time he'd said it at a family gathering. But this time, it felt different. It felt like the final straw, like something inside me snapped. I had spent my entire life watching Eva get everything, every ounce of praise, every ounce of love, and I was always just invisible. The one who worked behind the scenes, the one who could never do anything right. But this was it. This was the moment I realized I wasn't going to let them get away with it anymore. And so, I didn't cry. I didn't scream. I didn't try to defend myself. I just stood up. I grabbed my purse, and with every step I took toward the door, I felt this fire burning inside me. The click of my heels against the hardwood floor echoed through the silence. I walked out of that room. I'm Olivia, 32 years old, and I've spent most of my life feeling like the invisible one in my family. Growing up, there was always Eva. Perfect Eva, the golden child, the one everyone always praised for her straight A's, her flawless appearance, and how she could do no wrong. I watched it happen year after year. She was always the center of attention. Every family gathering, every holiday dinner, it was always about Eva. I couldn't tell you how many times I sat at the dinner table staring down at my plate while Mom and Dad gushed about her, how she'd won a debate competition, how she'd gotten another promotion at work, how she was such a natural leader in everything she did. And there I was, just trying to get a word in, trying to be noticed. But I was always the afterthought, always the one who faded into the background. It wasn't just at home either. I remember the first time I won a math competition in high school. I was so excited. My heart was racing when I came home, ready to tell my parents. But when I walked through the door, there they were, praising Eva for winning some small scholarship for her school project. My achievement was completely brushed off. And don't get me started on the time I landed my first big job out of college as a marketing coordinator. I worked so hard for that position, and I was proud of it. But when I brought it up at a family wedding, my mom didn't say a word. Instead, she turned to Eva, who was talking about her new role at a tech startup, and just nodded like my success didn't even matter. I wasn't angry at Eva. I don't think I ever was. It was always about how my parents treated me, how they couldn't even see me, no matter how hard I worked, no matter what I achieved. I tried so damn hard to be seen, but nothing I did was ever enough. And all the while, Eva just soaked it up, the praise, the adoration. But that night, at the wedding reception, when Dad said those words, I realized something. It wasn't just about Eva. It was about them, about my parents, about how they had shaped me into someone who would always be second. I spent so many years wondering what I was doing wrong, why I couldn't ever be the one they were proud of. But I wasn't the one with the problem. They were. The moment my dad spoke those words at the wedding reception, I felt something inside me snap. "We wish you were more like your sister." His voice still echoed in my head, drowning out everything else. I tried to keep my face calm, my hands steady, but I could feel my heart racing in my chest. I've spent my whole life trying to earn their approval. Eva got all the praise, but I worked for everything I had. I spent years behind the scenes, helping them with their family business, keeping things afloat when it was falling apart. I used my own savings to bail them out when they couldn't pay bills, even when I knew I should have been saving for my own future. I did all of this without a thank you, without any recognition. But the moment my dad said that, "We wish you were more like your sister," I realized something. It didn't matter how much I did, how much I gave. They would never see me for who I truly was. I'd been the backup, the safety net, the one who was always there when things fell apart. But Eva? She was the shining star. She was the one they called when things were going right. She was the one they proudly showed off, as if I didn't even exist. That night, I didn't cry. I didn't yell. I didn't try to defend myself. For the first time in my life, I felt this overwhelming sense of clarity. It wasn't just about the toast. It wasn't just about Eva. It was about the years of being invisible, the years of fighting for their love and respect that I would never get. So I stood up. I grabbed my purse, my hand trembling slightly, but I didn't care. I could feel the stares of everyone in the room, but I didn't look back. With every step I took toward the door, my heels clicking sharply against the hardwood, I felt something shift inside me, something powerful. I wasn't going to be their afterthought anymore. As I stepped out into the cool night air, the sound of the wedding party faded behind me. My heart was pounding, but for the first time it wasn't with anger. It was with resolve. As I walked out of that wedding, the cold night air hit my face, but it didn't calm the fire burning inside me. For the first time, I wasn't crying, wasn't angry. I was finally thinking clearly. I was done with being invisible, done with helping a family that never appreciated me, done with giving my time, money, and energy to people who only saw Eva as their golden child. That night was the final straw. I couldn't do it anymore. I got back to my apartment and sat in silence for a long time. I didn't want to make any rash decisions, but I knew I had to act. The more I thought about everything, the more I realized something. I had been giving them everything, and they didn't even notice. They didn't care. They had used me as their backup plan, their safety net, their problem solver, without ever truly valuing me. I spent hours thinking about the months I'd spent helping them with the business, bailing them out every time they hit a financial snag, offering advice they'd never listened to. I had been sacrificing my own future for them, putting aside my dreams and my savings, hoping that one day they'd see me, but they never did. The decision hit me like a ton of bricks, but it also felt freeing. I wasn't just going to walk away emotionally. I was going to cut all ties, financially and emotionally. So I did it. I opened my phone and went to our family group chat. I typed a message, my fingers steady, even though my heart was pounding. I'm done helping with the store. No more money, no more advice. Good luck. I hit send, and for the first time in a long time, I felt peace. I didn't care what they thought. I wasn't going to be their fallback anymore, but I knew there would be consequences. They'd call, they'd text, they'd probably try to guilt me into coming back, but I wasn't answering. Not this time. By morning, my phone was buzzing nonstop with messages and missed calls. I didn't look at any of them. I didn't need to. This was my turning point. The first few days after I sent that message were strangely calm. I didn't check my phone. I didn't need to hear the guilt trips or the demands for answers. For once, I felt like I was finally taking control of my life. But it didn't last long. By the end of the week, the calls started coming in. First, my dad, then my mom, then Ava. They were all frantic, all in panic mode. The messages started flooding in. What's going on? You can't just leave us hanging like this. We need your help. You're the only one who knows how to keep this business running. I let each call go to voicemail. Each text stayed unread. And still, the panic grew. My parents started calling from different numbers, leaving voicemails begging me to talk to them. Eva, of course, jumped in with her own message. Seriously? Are you really doing this? At first, I felt a slight twinge of guilt. After all, this was family. But then I remembered. How many times had they taken me for granted? How many times had I been the one to fix their problems, without a single thank you? They never saw me. They never appreciated me for who I was. And now, without my help, their perfect little world was falling apart. The business started to struggle. I knew it would. Without the constant cash flow I'd been sending each month, without my advice, they couldn't keep up. The bills started piling up. Suppliers started cutting them off. They were falling behind on payments, and their carefully crafted illusion of success was crumbling. I wasn't angry. I didn't want this to happen. But I wasn't going to apologize either. I didn't call. I didn't respond to any of their messages. and I didn't feel sorry. I was finally living for me. A few months passed, and I watched the fallout unfold, but from a distance. It wasn't my problem anymore. I could hear the whispers. Some of my relatives started asking about the family business, about my decision to stop helping. They were shocked at first, but as the days went on, they began to realize the truth. Without me, the store fell apart. The suppliers cut them off. Bills went unpaid. My parents had to take out loans just to stay afloat, and even that wasn't enough. It wasn't just the business. It was everything they'd built. All the carefully crafted appearances they had relied on, all gone. My father tried to negotiate with the IRS for overdue taxes, but without my help, he couldn't do it. My mom scrambled to sell off inventory, but it was too late. The bank foreclosed on their store. I didn't hear this from them. I heard it from a cousin. My parents never called to tell me what had happened. They didn't need to. I already knew. And Eva, she wasn't immune either. The plan she'd been so proud of, expanding the store into a chain, collapsed. She'd pitched investors, but with the store failing, they pulled out. Her reputation took a hit. I could practically hear the smirk she used to wear fading with each failed attempt. I didn't feel guilty. Not anymore. My phone still buzzed with messages, but I ignored every single one. Ava tried posting about me on social media, calling me jealous and petty for walking away. The comments started coming in. Some cousins, relatives, and even mutual friends started to call her out. They were tired of her bragging, tired of her lies. Some of them had no idea I'd been the one keeping the business alive all those years. They found out, though. The proof was in the bank transfers. I'd sent them $500 a month for years, and now they couldn't ignore it. I didn't want to make it public, didn't want to fight back. I blocked her. I muted my parents' calls. I started to rebuild my own life. I threw myself into my work and started a new project, a side business I'd been dreaming about for years. I was proud of what I had accomplished, finally standing on my own 2 feet without relying on anyone else's approval. And then came the letter from Grandpa. He'd heard about the family's collapse, and it was clear he wasn't happy. He'd been planning on leaving a portion of his estate to my parents, but after everything that had happened, he decided otherwise. "I'm changing the will," he told me in the letter. "They don't deserve a dime. The land and properties are yours, and some will be donated to charity." The words hit me harder than I expected. Not because of the money, I didn't care about that, but because, for the first time, I felt like someone truly saw me. I wasn't invisible. I was someone worth fighting for. It wasn't about the inheritance. It wasn't about revenge. It was about finally being acknowledged for who I was. For the first time, I didn't feel like I was just the one who was always there to pick up the pieces. I had built my own future with my own hands. And then, as I thought about everything that had happened, I realized the biggest victory of all. I had found my own peace. Sometimes revenge isn't about hurting them. It's about finding peace within yourself.